Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. In today's video I'm going to be figuring out what size porch I'm going to be on building on the front of this house. And it has been a while and I've gotten a lot of new subscribers. What's going on here is I bought this house, now it's been pretty much a year ago. It's almost depressing I'm not finished yet, but it's the way it is when you got all kinds of other things going on in your life. Certain projects take longer than you expect and you just have to keep rolling on it. But I bought this house for 12 grand, right under 12 grand. I'm doing a fix-up on it. I'm going to be renting it, and I did also consider selling it. Right now I'm leaning more towards renting it, just because when you rent something, you just basically sell the house over and over and over again. Unless it's something that you can fix up and make a bunch of money at once, that would take you, 10 or 15 years to recoup that money in rent. But this house, I'll probably have about $25,000-ish tied up in the house total, buying it and renovating it. So you're looking at roughly, if you rented the house, let's just say real conservative, or just, I'd say average, probably $600 to rent this house out. You're looking at $7,200 gross dollars a year. You might be able to rent it for more. You might be able to rent it up to $7,000, so you'd be, roughly $8,400 a year. So just talking gross numbers, you're looking at somewhere between 3 to 4 years to get this house paid off. Within 5 years, it's totally paid off and you're making money. But I view it as you're making money from day one, really, because I basically just stuck my money in a house. It's just like it's sitting in an account. If you're saving your money and it's just sitting there, you could be doing this, and instead of your money just sitting there doing nothing, your money, I can sell this house anytime I want for the amount that I put into it easily. I probably could go 2 or 3 times that when it's done. So by doing this, I look at it as money. It's just income, monthly income right off the bat. Because if you just got money stacked up, again, it's not doing anything for you. It's getting a little bit off topic, but that's sort of my thought as far as renting it goes. And I think that, rental stuff is improving in a lot of areas. Of course, the prices of houses are also increasing, so that's something to kind of weigh in as well. But I think probably what I'll do is I'll just rent it, and I'm just going to start pulling some of that money back in towards me, and then I'll sell it one day once this whole area's, the values of things kind of increases. And it is one of these areas that is kind of rising. I'm hearing about houses selling for amounts that I'm really surprised by. Places renting, talking about single wide and double wide trailers renting for $800-900 in certain places that you just would never think that something like that would occur. And of course, if you're in California, San Diego, or something like that right now, and you're hearing this stuff, you're like, you can rent a whole house for this much. Yeah, but the house also costs $500,000 to $1 million and more. This house costs $12,000. So it's all sort of that, how much are you making off how much you're spending. So in this case, it's really, if you can find another investment that can pull in that much money, that you can put $20,000 into something and then every single month get a $700, $800, $900 return on it, you should do it. But back to the topic. Talking about this porch here today, I'm going to pull the camera off the tripod and go ahead and start showing you some of the stuff that I'm thinking. Get my tape measure. So, let me back up. Look at the whole front of the house first. There's the front of the house. So, just to give you a little bit of dimensions, it's 11 feet 5 inches from the inside of this window to the inside of this window. The whole front of the house is, I believe, about 25 feet. From here to the ground is about 3 feet. So, could do a porch all the way across the whole front of the house. And then the porch would come the porch roof, I'd have it flashed right up under that siding and have that come out. The ultimate thing I'd like to do is to take the porch all the way to about here, the porch roof, about here to here, run it almost to the edge where it doesn't interfere with these brackets, and then the porch floor would be pulled in about 2 feet to have some good overhang, and it would come off about 8 feet. The roof would come off about 10 feet. So I'd have 2-foot overhangs all the way across. The size of the porch would be probably 16 feet-ish, and come off about 8 feet. Then when the steps come down off of it, it would land somewhere around where that shadow's at. Or a little further, probably more about where's my finger? Somewhere about right here. But I'm thinking that that's just too big of a thing to do right now. It is not going to get me everything it's just too big of a project for what I'm doing at the moment. And I still have the interior of this house to do. So as much as I'd like to do that if I was snapping my fingers, I've actually got to do the work. So I think what I'm going to do is do a porch that is either 8 feet, probably 8 feet wide, and stick off the house 6 feet. That's going to be good on materials, won't cost me an enormous amount, and then I'm going to put a small roof over top of it. So my roof would be 10 feet wide and stick off the house 8 feet. And so 6 feet comes out to about right here. Then my steps will come down to about right here, and then that won't interfere with the driveway. So I think that that's probably the best dimension. That allows enough room to each side for some chairs. There'll be, some sort of box columns I'll make on the corners, and then the staircase coming right down the center from the door. So that's what I'm thinking. Now I need to kind of lay out where I'm going to need some footings. I'm going to have to dig those out, pour some footings, and then I'll start constructing. And I'll construct the deck first, and then I'll move on to the roof structure above. Here we are around the back of the house. We got the same kind of an issue back here. I could just do a really tiny little stoop, just basically some steps and a little cover over the door. But I think back here I'm going to build a little small, low deck. And I think what I'm going to do is do it 10 feet long and have that come out 6 feet. So it's just going to be really low, and I may just do a handrail that wraps around just this side and leave this side just kind of open and have some little steps coming down. So this be a little deck right out of the kitchen, so that would be a nice little space for a small house to gain from. And I wouldn't do a roof over this. I would just have this be an open deck. I probably will do something just right over the door just to kind of keep the water off of it. But I'm going to go ahead and get that laid out and the footings dug as well. I'm all done. We'll do a quick wrap up of everything that happened today. So not a whole lot happened. I dug 4 holes, but a lot of it was just trying to decide what I want to do, considering what I'm going to do in the future, and how what I do now affects that. So we are in the back of the house now. Again, kitchen door. I ended up making, let's talk about the spacing first. I ended up going a little bigger than I was thinking. I'm making the one in the back 10 feet wide, and it also will stick off the wall 6 feet. I was going to go 8 feet, but then the footing was right in line with the electric meter. I could have just shifted it over, but I didn't really want to do that, so I just made the whole thing 10 feet. And so basically I just went in between the window and the meter is where the handrail will be. So I'll probably do, so again, 10 feet by 6 feet. A handrail will probably wrap from this side around to the steps, or to the point to where I've got a handrail close enough to where the ground, I think it's anything over 18 inches you need a handrail, something like that. But I might just put a handrail on the end and then just have one step coming down across and then over to the house. So this whole side of the porch would be open, handrail on this side, and to where you can come off the porch this way or to the side if you're going around that side of the house. I could also just do steps off that side, so these steps all the way around the whole thing, and that make running in and out of the house really easy. Size of the footings, and just so you know, this is going to differ wherever you're at and what you're putting on them. You cannot build a skyscraper on a footing this size. These are 16 inches square, and mine are 24 inches deep. And you can look up maps online that will tell you the frost line. So that's the whole point. You're trying to get below the frost line, and the frost line is the point in the ground at which freezing temperatures won't cause the ground to be unstable and be doing what's known as heaving, which is basically the ground going up and down depending on the temperature. When you get freezing temperatures, you'll notice a lot of times the ground will look like it's kind of lifted up in places, and that is because water expands and the ground has water in it, so the dirt will kind of get bigger. But if you go down beyond that, the ground is stable, and that's the whole purpose of footings like this. If you built a porch just on top cinder blocks lay on the ground, the truth is, depending on what it is, you'd probably be perfectly fine, but that's not how building codes work. They're kind of thinking longer than you're thinking when you just put something on cinder blocks. And since I'm doing all this work under building permit, people looking at all this stuff, and you know, I'll probably end up selling this house one day if I don't sell it as soon as I'm done. So you need to go ahead and get everything right to where you're not fixing some stuff later. But let's run around front real quick, take a last look at those footings. Again, these are 8 feet wide. And the reason I didn't go 10 out here is because I'm going to have a roof completely over this porch, and it'll extend over. I'll have 2 foot overhangs, or 1 or 2 foot overhangs all around. And so I would end up having columns in front of windows, so I'm trying to be careful that the other option, of course, was to do a full porch, which I don't really want to spend the money on that right now. But the way I'm going to build this porch is to where in the future I can extend it left and right if I so choose. There's the footing. And I'm going to have these pieces of OSB over the holes at nighttime to where if any puppy dogs, kitty cats, or trespassers decide to walk over the yard, they don't hurt themselves. Because even if they're not supposed to be in your yard, you can still get in trouble. So you got to be assume the worst on things like this. If you dig any bear traps like these, go ahead and cover them up. So the dirt left and right of the holes, that'll be used to backfill. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to pour 8 to 10 inches or so. I've got to look up how thick the footings need to be. I'll probably toss some of this rubble down in the holes, or some gravel, something like that, and then I'll pour about an 8-inch pad or so, whatever it ends up being, for the footing, and then I'll drop a 6x6 post down in there and then get those posts leveled out. There'll be the, what do you call it? It's not the band, sill, doesn't matter. There's going to be a treated piece of lumber attached to the house across, and then the joist will come off of that one. Y'all can straighten me out on what that's called. Hard to remember everything on camera. There'll probably be a 2x12 going across the front. A set of stairs will go up to that. In the corners, there'll be columns, 2x10s going across that, and then 2x6 rafters running up to the house. Again, attached to another piece of treated lumber, and then it will be shingled and flashed up under that sheathing there. So that is the plan. A lot of people have been asking. That is what I'm assuming I'm going to do. So I say it in every video. I hope you all are enjoying this whole process. I do wish it was going faster. Again, it's been about a year that I've been working on this house. So that is a long time, and I would like to get it wrapped up pretty soon to get some people up in this house renting it, or go ahead and sell it. But most likely, gonna rent it, and over a long period of time, I'll make a whole bunch of money. I would like to get my monthly income kind of consistently up. Selling something's great, but if I sell it, I'm just gonna roll that money into something else, and the money's gonna be gone. If I turn it into passive income, it'll be monthly income that I'll use just for everyday life. So that's one of the kind of ways to think of it. You hand me a bunch of money, I'm going to go buy another house. I know it. I'm not going to keep it and then slowly use it for paying bills and whatnot. So that is the way I'm thinking. Feel free to let me know what you think and what you do if you're also renting or buying and selling. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check the links below. I'm going to have a link to the book that I wrote about buying cheap houses, how I bought houses just like this one. It is an ebook. You can buy it off Amazon or directly off my website. People have been asking as well when I'm going to do the audiobook version, and I'm going to try to get that done soon. I've already started about halfway through the book, just need to finish it up, and I was glad to be reminded by someone recently in the comments because I had completely forgotten. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.